the 450 Supercross champion, Eli Tomac. ET, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on.
Hey there. Just drove home today, so
yeah,
got back home, and then that's it. Life's good.
Yeah, I bet, man. How far of a drive is that?
It's 6 hours for, so it's not too bad.
No, that's okay. It was 5.5 to Vegas for me, so yeah, not too bad.
Sweet.
Hey, man, you used the word relieved a lot in your press conference, and I imagine you're happy too, though. You must be very happy, but also, for reals, you got to be relieved, right?
Oh, like no other. I mean, it's been, I don't know. I feel like a long time coming. I mean, I've been short, those few times, and just in kind of goofy ways, and thankfully I had another shot at put myself in the position to get a championship, and finally got it done.
Was there a change, do you think? Did you make a conscious change, something to do to eliminate those one or two bad rides? Did anything change for you? I mean, a sports psychologist, long talks with mom and dad, anything like that to help you? Was there anything different this year?
It's hard to say. I feel like my emotions have just been kind of this level-headed that way, and I don't know why that changed or what happened. And then I go back to like I was ready from the get-go this year. There was nothing lingering. Our motorcycle was good right away. It's like everything just went the right way. And then racing wise, I was able to make really good recoveries when I did have those couple of mistakes. And I always go back to Atlanta when I think about that.
Yeah.
Get back to fourth that way. So those 10ths and 15ths weren't there this year. That was the difference.
Yeah, for sure. It was. I mean, some of those rips through the pack were amazing, right? And then in the past, you would rip through the pack, but then make a mistake, and then it would kind of compound itself, and that just didn't happen this year. It was amazing. Outside of some really terrible starts, you were so solid all year long.
Yeah,
it was something to see for sure. The last race, you obviously look like in the heat race, you wanted nothing to do with number 51. I found that hilarious. You were like, yeah, go. All right, Justin, go. Take it in the heat race. And in the main event, I think you got fifth, but it was almost like you were on autopilot and other guys were making mistakes. And I imagine that you were totally fine with that.
Oh, yeah, I was fine with it. The heat race, I don't know where I was, somewhere in the middle there. And then, Justin, I kind of rode behind him. I thought the track was I thought it was going to race better than it did. I thought I was pretty excited just by looking at it because I thought it was a little more technical.
Yep.
Even though there were the few 90-degree turns, but the 90s didn't really work out at all. They kind of turned into a single file train there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the left side of our long rhythm lane on the one end of the stadium, that didn't work well either. We were all stuck on the right side. So I felt like from that first 90 all the way through that rhythm lane, there wasn't much going on. It was kind of follow the leader. Anyway, back to the races. It's like I said, it didn't. I thought it would race a little bit better, and then I was, like you said, I was autopilot for that main event. I was really nervous, or not nervous, but the most thing I was spun out about was the first turn.
Yeah,
because it was a tight 180, and then someone kind of jammed it up in there. I think it might have been Mookie. I mean, it wasn't bad, but he was definitely like, in my swing arm a little bit. I'm like, gosh, all right, let's get through this thing clean. So once I got through that clean air, I knew we were going to be okay.
You're a national champion, and many times over, and you've won all these races. And I was going to ask you if you were nervous, but not nervous, but maybe some anxiety then for you, even for a guy like yourself that's won so much.
I had you always have the couple thoughts like, oh man, what if my bike jacks up or something? But having that 19-point cushion, I wasn't nervous about the race itself. I felt like I was going to get through it. That was my mindset. Yeah. I wasn't, I did have my eyeballs on Cooper. I'm like, where's Cooper at? Because I was surprised not to see him at the front there. I didn't know what happened to him in that first turn. Mm-hmm. I'm like, maybe he's like sitting right behind me, at the very beginning of the race. I couldn't tell where he was at.
Right.
So anyway, and then I ended up seeing him, and I'm like, all right, we're in a good spot now.
Right, right. How much do you think? Like last year, we talked. Obviously, you came in with a back injury last year, so that didn't help. But it was also a brand new bike, and me as a former mechanic, I was telling people like, dude, these guys, they'll learn things about this bike after a year, and all through the data and everything else. And it's a brand new motorcycle, literally like 3 parts are the same or something. So did you feel like your bike is better this year? You learn more about it, the team learned more about it than it was last year? Or do you feel like last year that wasn't really, I don't want to say an excuse, but last year it didn't affect you, the brand new model?
It did for the first few rounds. We had to make changes last year.
Okay.
But I was also, off the back injury. But even if I would have been healthy, I mean, that's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I would have nailed that problem down before the racing. We made basically a shock, and not sure if we did like a pull rod change or something. Anyway, that's what happened last year after the first few rounds, and I got my just my comfort back that way.
Yep.
But going with a new bike, new chassis, it's challenging. You try to do as best as you can at the practice track, but you never know till you go race it. So I say year 2, as long as the bike is good, then it's a lot easier that way.
Was your bike much different this year from last year? Did you do much stuff to it?
Not anything substantial.
Yeah.
There was a couple of little parts on our suspension, but nothing like that was
right.
Way different from I would say the middle of the season last year.
Yeah, after you got those parts going, right?
Hey, Eli, this is Skip. First of all, congratulations. Nice to get that one checked off your list.
Yeah.
After just no choice but to be outside looking in these rounds at Salt Lake, but it was interesting to hear some of your comments and how you talked about things, and it seemed like that. Did you have a priority that no matter what happens on the drop of the gate, I'm going to be on the podium? Was that something that entered into your equation of how you were going to approach any race?
I just went with just if I was riding comfortable and that comfort level was taking me to the front. That's kind of what I was going with. I mean, my starts were hit and miss. There I had a couple good ones, a couple bad ones. I would have come out second or third on that one, but Cooper, did the sweet little brake check.
No, he said he didn't know. He said he never saw you, didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, he's saying that before the series ended.
I know, right?
But
bullshit.
Yeah. But mentally, I didn't have a specific game plan. It was really, my goal was to come out swinging those first 2 rounds. We were only 3 points up on Ken going into there, and I felt like I really made up my ground and did my work those first 2 races.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. You talk about you went as fast as you felt comfortable with and pushed as far as you could, and then after that mud race where you and Coop just put on that show, we asked you different times in different ways in the press conference about were you hanging it out? Were you worried about a title? Were you worried about your points lead? And you just kept saying, no, I just felt comfy, so I just kept pushing. And in those conditions, I'm going, holy shit, it was you, and you just kept saying, no, I'm not thinking of a points lead. I'm comfortable, and I'm in my comfort range, which is gnarly, which is how good you're feeling.
Yeah, and that mud race, if you were in the main line, I didn't think it was that bad. We were, we were just going, So a lot of times in the mud, you're better off riding fast. A lot of times in the mud.
Yeah.
If you've got your your balance good and you're feeling right, a lot of times that little extra speed keeps you up.
I'm happy for you, for sure. I'm happy for your dad and your parents. They're great people and all of that. I'm also happy for Brian Krantz, your mechanic. He's been with you for a long time, and this is stuff that as a mechanic, Skip, I don't know because I never was very good at being a mechanic, but you know this stuff, and it's just I'm just happy for Krantz because it's hours and hours in the shop, and so he's, I'm happy for all you guys, but especially for Krantz. I can relate to that. That's awesome. Good job for Brian. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how much time and the sacrifice, they put in, driving to the shop every day. I know he drives like, an hour and a half, before that express lane got put in. But those guys put in unbelievable hours. We've been together since 2011. So it's awesome. We've been rolling.
Good job by that. What are you gonna say, Skip?
No, people talk about pressure, and I think Eli even spoke about it a little bit. But I think that there was more pressure going to that last round on the team, not wanting to let Eli down, right? Eli with that points lead, Eli's more than confident. Everybody's more than confident that, hey, I got it handled.
Yeah.
But the team's like, I don't want to be the one that lets him down. And the pressure for the team was probably tremendous.
And Eli too, like Sternstrom, like Bruce is like, I mean, he's a great guy, but he's also pretty honest, And Bruce has been Bruce has told me, we need to win the Supercross championship. That's what we need to do. Like, outdoors is great, but we need to win the Supercross title. Like, I don't know if you felt that, but and it's great for the team, but they Monster and Kawasaki and everybody, and let's face it, the Supercross is more prestigious, So Eli, I'm sure you were feeling that too a little bit.
Oh yeah, it was there. I mean, we have that conversation, every December when we go out there. It's like, let's get this thing done.
Yeah. No, Bruce is just like, outdoors is great, but we're paid to win Supercross. And I'm like, okay, Bruce, all right. So, it was definitely something I heard. 702-586-7857 if you have a question for Eli Tomac, the 450 Supercross champion on the line. Eli, so outdoor-wise, I don't know how much you got done during the shutdown. I know that like some teams would just send suspension back and forth and kind of dry it. How far are you into outdoor stuff, or do you still have to do like a whole month now?
Oh, we got a little bit in. I'm not going to say we're super prepared, but I'm not going to say we're way behind. I'd say we're somewhere in the middle. We did a pretty good block of riding before Salt Lake on motocross. That was before we even knew Supercross was going to go. And then I got the call from Dan. He's like, "Holy crap, we're going to go race!" So that's when we hopped on Supercross. But we got a few weeks in on the motocross, so I don't think we'll be chasing much. So. Should be fine for moto.
A lot of times, I don't know if this applies to you, but a lot of times the Supercross champion, it's such an intense series. It's 17 races, and this was 7 in 3 weeks and everything else, that there's a little bit of a letdown early in moto, like just with some Supercross champions over the years. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. And you have always been like, hey, I didn't win Supercross. Watch this, everybody. And you come out blazing outdoors. But now you got to get motivated again to defend the title again. Do you see an issue with that, or do you see yourself being fresh and everything else and ready to go?
I could see how that would happen. Especially when it's the normal schedule, right? When we only have 1 weekend off. Yeah. I could see that high, and then your motivation kind of being in a funk. But now that we have a month, I think I'll be able to, regroup here and be in the zone just fine, I think.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, we do have some time. It feels like it's coming up, but it's we are okay for sure. We got a call for you from Brock on 3. Brock, welcome to the show. What's your question for Eli Tomac?
Hey, Eli, it's Brock Rizan here. First of all, just want to congratulate you and your family on the championship. Super stoked for all you guys. It's been crazy watching you come up since I was a little kid and seeing a guy from your hometown become the best rider in the world. Just wanted to ask you, if your career goes the way you want it to, and you hang up the boots, what are some things you could see yourself doing? Like maybe start farming with your dad or some hunting outfitting?
Post-retirement, yeah. What do you think, Eli?
Oh, post. That I don't know yet. I mean, we just had our first kid, so I'm hoping that my kids kind of lead the way for me, and I can figure out what I'm going to do that way. So, but for exactly what I'm going to do, I can't tell you what I'm going to do. I don't know yet.
Just chill out, do some hunting.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hunting or whatever. Eli disappears on the ranch.
I don't want to rush into something. I'm hoping I can take a few years and figure it out, and
thanks, Brock. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, no problem.
Eli, also too, Chad Reed I think he comes back a race, but officially he retired this past Sunday race with a season best 10th, by the way. What are your thoughts on 2-2 and obviously, you know, when you came in to the 450 class, he was one of the guys, or, you know, closer to the front than he is now. But what's it been like to race with him?
Oh, it's my first year in the 450 class. You're just like, no way. I used to watch this guy. I was, you know, the little kid in the stands watching him.
Yeah.
So it's been, I guess it's a pleasure racing him, you know. And then you look at, someone posted something like on all the generations that he's raced, you know,
Yeah.
like all the way to RC, and then now he's all way into, you know, my 7th year in the 450 class, and Chad's still there. So it's really cool that he's made it that far, and he's you know, totally on a competitive level, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, top 10 in the world,
yeah,
right, is unbelievable. So
now, when you were little, were you an RC kid, a Chad kid, or a Stu kid? Because you rode Suzuki, so maybe you were an RC kid. I don't know.
I like Chad and Ricky and James. I just watched all three of them.
Okay,
that's all I did.
Right,
I didn't really have a super favorite.
Yeah.
I just loved watching all three of those guys. You know, I would try to just watch them for different things, and I just, those were the three guys that I watched. Was James, Chad, and Ricky.
All right, we got a question from Jeff. Jeff, what's your question for Eli Tomac?
Hey, Eli, since you won the championship and kind of the pressure's off now, going into next season, you think that's going to give you more of a, different mindset going in? Like, all right, I won the championship. All right, it's kind of, you know, checked off. I don't have as much pressure, do you think, or defending the plate, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a theory. We talked about this on our wrap-up show. I think next year, Eli, I think everything changes and Eli is even better because it's pressure's off. When we see the wins, we see the speed, and now there's no pressure. So to me, I think, Eli, this is going to be easy for you to defend this title. Not easy, but you know what I mean, like mentally easy. So what do you think, Eli?
Yeah, mentally it'll be different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been on my mind. I'm like, you know, I'm this close. I cannot let this one go. That's the way, you know, that's what was kind of running through my mind this year. So, yeah, maybe it will be a little bit easier that way, but at the same time, you still want to play it the same way as you know, try to do it the same way, right? You know, just be crazy consistent. I mean, it's so gnarly how consistent you have to be, and then if you do jack up one race,
yeah,
just like I have in the past or what Cooper did this year, it's like over, you know? So you've got to be just kind of like a machine and a robot. So try to do that again, but yeah, I won't have that lingering monkey on my back. Like,
yeah,
dude, you've got 34 wins and you don't have a Supercross championship. What the heck is going on?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think next year you're going to be like, oh, okay, I'm relaxed. I got this. Watch this. That's just my theory. It's early. Who knows? But Jeff, or Jesse, what's your question for Eli Tomac?
Yeah. So first off, congrats, champ. And as happy as I was for you yesterday, as someone that gets so much joy out of watching you do your thing every weekend, at the same time, I can't help but be a little more worried about the R word now that you've checked the last big box on your career resume, not to mention that you're a dad. So my question is, if to put you on the spot, if you had to put a percentage on it, what would you say the odds are that you're still racing when you're 30, assuming that you stay healthy and you're still consistently competing for race wins?
So that's gonna, right now in my mind, I want to keep racing if I can stay competitive for winning. So, you know, I feel like I can do that for at least 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then that till I'm 27 now. I turn 28 November, 29, 30. That's the thing. I don't want to be counting numbers and age, but really, I don't want to be rolling around in fifth or even, you know, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I want to stay competitive for winning. Because I don't want to accept, you know, not being able to have the chance of being, you know, a winner or being beat.
All right.
So,
yeah.
I'm definitely not retiring next year, I'll tell you that, or the end of this outdoor season. You know, I've got, you know, a couple more in me.
Couple more. All right. Thanks, Jesse. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, man.
Thanks
a lot.
So, Eli, this is Skip again. You know, there's a comment you made at the end of the night where you were talking about you love racing, you love riding your dirt bike.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I don't know, that's you guys would know better, but it seems like that's something that's lost with some guys that, that they don't enjoy riding their dirt bike. And you talk about what you want to do and how you'd like to do it. The fact that you love riding your dirt bike, that gives you an opportunity to do whatever you want because you still love riding your dirt bike.
Yeah, I truly enjoy it that way. And I still try to think of, or just try to, improve my riding, right, and my racing. I still try to think of being better. I don't want to, kind of settle. I feel like it'll get eaten up that way. So, I still, I'm not burnt out yet is the best way to put it too. Like I still, get fired up on that race line, on that starting line. I still like enjoy the chase that way. So, I still got some in me.
No, it's just refreshing to hear that coming from someone like yourself. I enjoy hearing it.
I guess Eli, the only bummer about the whole situation for you clinching your first title is, the COVID thing and the no fans and the weird celebration on all of that. Kind of a bummer, right? I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, geez,
Yeah, the podium. It was actually super awkward. No one really knew what to do. I didn't even know what to do. It's not.
I love the woohoo.
Yeah. You're like, oh, yeah.
It was, I mean, it was just me and Kranz, and I mean, so cool, but it was a little bit of a buzzkill. But I'm like, well, that's the motivation to try to get one next year, so we can, if things get back to normal, we can all celebrate.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point, right? There you go. Hey, I was talking to Brayton and Kenny, and I was out on a mountain bike ride with them, training them, by the way, Eli.
During
the week. Yeah, I was training with them. But they were saying, dude, 2 races a week, sign them up. Like, they're down with it. What are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think guys will change their mind when we're not stuck in one city.
Yeah.
That's my only thought on it. It was easy. I'm not easy, but it was easier for us, right? We could just cruise back to the Airbnb or hotel, wherever the heck we were at.
Mm-hmm.
It was easier that way. But I think if you got to jump on a plane and you try to get back home, that'll be. I mean, you probably won't do much riding during the week, but that would be a little bit more of a challenge,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know they were both mentioning too, like how they were doing with money-wise, with bonuses and everything and all that, like two times a week and not practicing and not testing. They were loving that program. So
I mean, that part of it is nice, and then maybe we could have a bigger window before MX or something. That is one thing that would work, I guess, or we'd race a couple, right, and then have a weekend off. Instead of just doing, like 14 in a row.
They would just add races, though, right, Eli? They wouldn't give you guys weekends off. They just wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I was gonna tell you too. My top 3 highlight of my Salt Lake City stay was I was out with Nick, mountain biking behind.
Oh, there it is again, mountain biking.
Mountain biking behind the ski ramps there, and we're going down a trail, and we're going down a hill. We turned the corner to go down this hill. And at the bottom of the hill, we see this guy make a hard left, and he's out of the saddle climbing this hill. We're on e-bikes, of course. We're on e-bikes. This man is not on an e-bike. He's out of the saddle. It's John Tomac, Eli, just grinding up this hill. It was like seeing like Jesus out there, like in his natural habitat. And then Nick was like, Johnny or something. He's like, hey, boys. And he just keeps going, dude, just pumping. And first of all, I'm like, Nick, first of all, we're on e-bikes. He's disgusted with us. Second of all, we're going down the hill that he's going up. I'm like, you know how disgusted he is with us right now? So I don't know, Eli, but it was cool seeing him up there. He was all by himself, just grinding. So.
Oh, man, he was in heaven. He hasn't had time off from the farm down here. In a long time, so he just rode his bicycle every day. That place was sweet. It was vacation for him.
Yeah, really, right? We were just like, it's John fucking Tomac grinding up a hill. Like, oh my god, it was pretty awesome. We were loving it. I just hope he wasn't disgusted with us for going down the hill and on e-bikes.
No,
Absolutely.
no,
Yeah.
no. We're pumped just to see people on mountain bikes.
Yeah,
That's our
yeah. I know. I asked him one time.
Our thought on e-bikes,
Right. I asked both of you guys. I was like kind of scared. Like, where are you out of e-bikes?
Yeah.
And both of you guys have been like, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. We're good.
Yeah.
So, last question for Eli Tomac from Cordell. Cordell, what's going on? How are you? What's your question for Eli Tomac?
Yo, I was just wondering with AC coming in this year, and in the past you've kind of had teammates that weren't really on that top level as you are. Did he bring anything kind of new or help you out in any way before he was injured?
Well, we were pushing each other hard. I'll say like early season in December. He's got really good practice speed that way, but other than that, we don't spend a whole lot of time. Really, we only spent time around each other in California. For like that month there. Gosh, it's to be honest, it's nice having him up there. Having another green bike, even though everyone's racing for themselves, but having AC there, is nice. I mean, you don't want to be the guy getting second right on your team, but yeah, it's good. It's been good.
But in the past, it's been you and a bunch of orange and white bikes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's how it's been for a number of years.
It's been like 1 versus 10. Yeah.
Right. So, thanks, Cordell. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
Eli, thank you for your time coming on tonight. Congratulations, man. It's yours. You did it. It's a fantastic season, and happy for yourself and your team, guys that I know pretty well. So congratulations. Thank you for coming on.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thank you. That's Eli Tomac, everybody. Brought to you by Vertex Pistons. Sales at pivotworks.com. Email them to get a deal on 4-stroke pistons, 2-stroke